Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. I got a very special guest today, Mr. Tim Cunningham. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
He has a busy schedule. Just came back from Reno. We were just talking off camera, and came from Vegas, and then going golfing later on today. You're Belinda. So thank you so much for putting me into your busy schedule.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Congratulations on all your success. I want to kind of introduce the audience of how well you're doing. I think the last time we met, you stopped by my office.
Yeah.
And I think the number that stood out to me was your new business premium.
Yeah. Having a good year. Trying to keep up with you, it's quite a challenge for sure.
No. For you guys, Mr. Cunningham does really well on all lines. I'm kind of like the personal lines specialist, but you mind sharing the audience what your premium numbers are looking like for new business?
Yeah, I think in all lines of business right now, autos, homes, commercial, everything across the board, I think we're around 3.6 or 3.7 million in new business premium right now year to date.
That is unbelievable.
It's a good year. It's a good year so far. It's been a good year.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
By far the best year.
For sure.
Let's start from the beginning. So, how long have you been an agent? How long have you been in the industry again? I think you shared with us.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like my gray hair kind of gives that away, doesn't it?
No, looking good.
So my dad was an agent with Farmers Insurance.
Uh-huh.
And when I was 18 years old is when he started as an agent.
Oh, okay.
And so when I graduated high school here in Orange County, I went to work for him in the office for all 4 years of college at Cal State Fullerton there. I worked for him in the agency, just learning everything, doing everything. And then when I graduated from Fullerton with a degree in accounting and finance, I became an agent. So that was 1988. So it's been 31 years.
Under his office?
No, so we shared an office. We bought an office building. We shared an office, but we had separate agencies at that point.
Oh, so you started your own agency?
Yeah, I started my own agency in '88.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
It's been 31 years that I've been an agent. 35 years altogether that I've been working with Farmers Insurance.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So if I look tired, that's why.
No, that's why it's so great to have all the experience, and we're going to talk about that too. Yeah. But all the experience could only help, right?
Yes and no. I mean, you definitely can learn from the past, but you can't dwell on it because this business changes constantly. So if you're so rigid that you're set in your ways, you say, "Well, this is the way I've always done it." Mm-hmm. It's not going to serve you well because we're constantly changing. Farmers is constantly changing the products and how they do things. The customers changing and how they want to buy insurance. Everything changes constantly. So you really have to be really fluid in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you want to learn from your experience, but don't use that for everything, right? So you got to adapt at the same time.
Absolutely. And we see a lot of that with older agents too. They get kind of a little rigid, a little set in their ways. This is how we've done things in the past. We'll continue to do it this way. So I don't know. Right now, I'm fortunate. We're able to keep moving. I have a lot of staff, a lot of younger staff working with me, so they don't let me slack. Keep going.
Keeps you young.
Keeps me young, and then we're paying it forward the same way I worked with my dad when I was younger. My son works in the agency as well. Now he's been with me about 6 years now or so.
Okay.
He's 27 now at this point. So,
okay. Is he going to start his own agency, or you hope not?
I don't think so. I think we'll see. You never know in the future what happens.
Because that's the path you went through, right?
That is the path I went through. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what plays out. But right now we have a really good thing going, so I'm not sure we want to rock the boat.
Right. Yeah. Don't mess with something if it's not broken.
It's working right now.
Not broken at
Who
all.
knows? 2020 we might not be working anymore.
Yeah. Well, things change, but anyway. I think the key is that you're open to adapting.
I have to.
Yeah. It's not like would be nice to adapt. It's kind of like a necessity.
Yeah, you see some agencies after a certain period of time they get complacent, real comfortable with how much they're producing or what they're making, and they just kind of dial it back and maybe cut down on some staffing and some others cut down on overhead, and they don't produce as much anymore. And I know they just live on the renewals basically.
Yeah, it's easy to get pretty spoiled or
boy, I tell
complacent
you
in
what,
this
though, you
business.
do that, yeah, you sit still, you're actually going backwards.
Yeah.
Because that attrition rate is going to keep going regardless, you know, and if you have an average of 80% retention, you're losing 20% of that book of business every year. And if you're not replacing that, you're just going to go backwards fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So I've definitely seen that. So that's one of the lessons I've learned in the past from other agents
Yeah.
as well.
There's only two directions, right?
Yeah, you can't. There's no static. It's either forward or backward. So
what has driven you to keep going forward, you think? Because, you know, like you said, there are probably a lot of agents with a lot of experience that, you know, reach a certain point where not complacent but comfortable.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
there's nothing wrong with that too. You know,
No.
this business gives us a great opportunity for us to have the freedom. But what do you see in yourself that differentiates yourself from an agent that wanted to keep going? Because your success has really even, you know, going to another level fairly recently.
yeah, that's
You know,
good. That's a good question.
Because
Actually,
you could really just not
I could
work if you want as much.
That's for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could definitely dial it
You
back.
just like the business,
and
or
be comfortable. I'll preface this by saying that, and I say this pretty much everywhere I speak to, that there's 100 different ways to run this business and be successful. So I will talk about things today, and somebody else might run it completely different and still be successful. So this is not a guaranteed blueprint of you have to do this to be successful. These are things I do and why I do them. But self-motivation is huge. In this business, you have no boss. You don't have to be anywhere any day. You don't have to do anything.
which is a great thing, but sometimes a bad thing for some
It's a
people.
bad thing for most people.
Right.
It really is. And you see that with agents, even in other companies and stuff. You'll see that. You know, they're out and about doing whatever. I remember talking to somebody not too long ago, and he told me, I got into this business because I don't want to work on Fridays and I want to have every Friday off, so that's why I'm doing this now. And I was thinking that's kind of a weird way to think about this business, because I still work like Saturdays and Sundays. I'll go to the office and get stuff done.
Great. Yeah. Me
Because
too.
the more, right, you're the same way. The more we work, the better we do, and some of us are just wired that way.
Right.
You know, and I think one of my character defects, one of many, is the ego.
Okay.
So I need to see my results compared to other people. I need to see that we're doing well. And that's not to say we always will. I mean, there may come a time, maybe 2020, maybe my part where I get cut off at the knees and all of a sudden I'm floundering around. I don't know. We're not promised anything.
Right.
But that's what drives me right now. And that's why we hire more and do more, because even as I get older and I'm just more tired nowadays than I was in my 30s, obviously. We hire and we bring more people in to do some of those jobs that I used to do. And that way we can keep moving forward.
Right.
So
That's interesting. You say it's your ego, but it is kind of like a self-belief you have, right? Like you feel like you feel like you deserve it, or you feel like, you know, it's possible. So that self-belief is so important, and I think the discipline is so important too. You know, I think a lot of the agents, because they're not having any discipline, they don't have that someone looking at them, the self-discipline and self-drive. I think that is the difference maker.
absolutely.
So tell me about your staff. How many people you got working at your office there?
Currently, right now, we have there's a total of 10 of us.
Okay.
There's 7 that are in the office every day, because that's all the room we have, and there's 3 that work remotely from home
Oh yeah.
every day.
Okay.
trying something out. That's another thing we talk about, how we try things and see if they work or don't work. So I've tried that with some producers in the past, bringing people on, try something different. Some producers I pay salary, some I don't, some are higher commission, some are just, I have to try different things and see what works the best. And then some people just need a little different structure than others. One of my staff members currently works from home. She's a producer, but she also has one of our VoIP phones at the house, so it rings at her place constantly, and she's actually answers phones all day long. Answers phones, does some customer service, is able to transfer calls back and forth. It works out fantastic.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're just trying different things to see. Maybe that's a model in the future. Maybe I only have 3 or 4 customer service staff in an office where customers can come to, and maybe everybody else is remote from the house.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just
that's a huge benefit for an employee, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
They probably love that. So that could be something like, hey, if you work hard, maybe you could be able to work from home.
Well, absolutely.
Motivational
Because
factor.
California is a huge state, right? And if you're licensed down here in Orange County, you're licensed everywhere in California, so you can do anything. So if I find a really good person that knows what they're doing and wants to work with me, but they live in Sacramento, that's a great option. Here's a VoIP phone. The office will ring there as well. You can make calls in and out of there, but you don't have to move down here. You don't have to commute or anything. Work from there. So I'm trying different things to see where it's going to lead in the future.
Yeah. I think that open-mindedness is a huge factor too, probably.
You know what gives you the freedom to do that?
Yeah. What's that?
The paycheck. When you're struggling, it's hard to say, let's throw out X amount of dollars for leads.
Right.
Let's give a producer this amount of base and hope it works out.
Right.
It's hard to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you have sales and you have income rolling in, it gives you the freedom to play around a little bit and say, well, let's try this. Well, that was $5,000. That one didn't work as well, but we'll try this now.
You can't do that when you're new.
You can't.
Yeah.
But at this stage, you can.
Right. That's what makes it more funner, huh?
It makes it a lot of fun.
Would you say you are a risk taker?
Yeah, that's a great question. By nature, again, my background is accounting and finance. Those are my degrees, and those people are generally very conservative.
Numbers, everything, right?
I'm not. I'm a gambler.
You're a gambler, okay.
I am a gambler.
Well, you took it to another level. I asked you if you're a risk taker. You're actually a gambler, so that's another level above
It
that.
is. Yeah. It is. So.
Well, don't you think that's necessary? If you want to build a big,
Yeah, and it's not just to the insurance industry. It's to any industry.
Right.
You have to take risks. Or gamble. It's the same phrase. It's the same word. I'm going to take a gamble on trying this, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work, and I'll learn from that, or modify it or something. So. Yeah.
What type of what's been working for you, right? Like what has got you to this level as far as new business premium is?
Yeah.
Anything? I know you may not want to be able to get into the specifics.
No, that's fine. I'll talk about anything today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So obviously, we don't produce numbers like you do here. You're in a different realm altogether. You have a different strategy. You corner a different piece of the market than I do. I have a pretty decent sized book of business already, and what I try to do, how we try to mold ours, is we just try to be super well-rounded.
Yeah, I see that.
I've just learned in the past, that's another one of these life lessons that you learn over time. I would put all my eggs in one basket, something would go sideways in the industry or with farmers or what have you, and all of a sudden your income takes a hit for a while until you can figure out another path. So we try to be super well-rounded now. So we have pretty decent personal lines production. This year's extraordinary commercial production, and then life production year in and year out is pretty
consistent.
It's pretty consistent.
Where has the commercial numbers? How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's what
Everybody wants to know that, I know. I just got back from Reno for a few days at the California conference, and
You're probably getting that question.
I got that question a lot. That's why my voice is still sore from there.
Everybody can see your numbers.
Yeah, so I'll skip to the end of the story.
Okay.
And a big chunk of the commercial premium comes from one group of companies that are semi-related. It's a habitational company. They own a ton of apartment buildings and rentals and stuff all over Southern California.
A property management company?
Oh, no, the actual owners of the company,
wow, okay.
of the properties themselves. So, so the naysayers will say that, oh, I slipped and fell into this account.
Oh, you 500% earn that.
And I kind of play that off the aw shucks role. But I'm a big believer in you make your own luck as well.
Absolutely.
So really, the intricacies of this account was the owner of all those properties and I kind of ran in the same circles for 15 years or more, and we knew of each other. It's just I never approached him for these risks. One of my producers knows this gentleman pretty well.
Okay. Wow.
And he finally got the gentleman to reach out to us and say, let's give you a chance to see what you can do.
This must be a huge
pretty massive.
Huge player in the real estate game.
It's very massive. So I talked to the owner of the company one evening. It was literally 2 days after we got back from Florida for President's Council this year. This
this is pretty recent.
Came to me, very recent. It was in May. And I talked to the owner of the company, and he was explaining loosely what all he had, and he was looking for another broker to take over his accounts. And he just wanted to know, would we be able to handle him? And here's another piece of that puzzle. So not only is it, not only do I have to have connection, then I have to have a producer that knows the person, but I have to be pretty entwined into farmers and know the management there, because there's going to be a lot of business coming through.
You gotta know what you're doing.
And we have to have a decent sized staff, because there's
service all those certificates.
It ended up being about 2,900 properties in all is what it ended up being for this account. So it takes a few people every day at the office to handle this. So out of our group of employees, some just work on this account only now, which kind of affects the rest of the business. So I need to probably ramp up that a little more.
I think that's exciting to hear, because sometimes in the personal lines business, it's a lot of nickel and diming, and it's like it's like more volume than just one relationship.
But that's not a bad thing.
But for what you're able to accomplish here is literally one client could change your agency in such a impactful way.
It can.
What advice can you give to anybody who are trying to build relationships?
Good question. Now, I'll back up a hair on that. That's what we're seeing is the good side of it right now, right? There's obviously a bad side of this as well, too. If the customer leaves at some point, could be on this coming renewal, could be 5 years down the road, could be 10 years down the road. Whenever it is, everybody eventually leaves. That's going to be quite a void. One customer can make a huge difference the other way as well.
That's true. But I think if you have the financial discipline to not blow everything, and the way I would look at it is, hey, 5 years or 10 years or even 1 year, that commission is better than none. It's worth all the work.
Totally agree. I totally agree. I got that from a few other agents early on.
So sometimes people get a little too afraid of like losing the business, but you can't start it until you get it.
Now, 1 year would be phenomenal, but
I think your specialty may be just maintaining that relationship.
Yeah.
And I think the job is not done. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's actually even more to service that account and making sure
It's
you do everything
crazy
you
to
can.
think of, but getting the account and writing the account, and it literally took us probably 3 solid months just to write everything. That was the easy part.
You say that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now is the tough part.
Wow.
It's,
Okay.
It's all the service work that goes along with it.
Uh-huh.
It's the billing issues. It's the certificates that need to be done.
And you want to be on everything.
you have
I
to
mean,
be.
this is
For a risk
super
like this,
important
they expect excellence.
job. Yeah.
So I ride the staff a little harder right now, which is totally not like me. But I ride them a little harder now to make sure everything is perfect. I talk to the account fairly regularly. Next Tuesday, I'll be up at in Woodland Hills at the commercial office talking to management about some more
Oh, really?
things, and I've made several trips up there
Okay.
already.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very time consuming, but but it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. You know, I think thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of agents may kind of not be open to sharing, you know, what has worked, and you know, they might have a little bit of you know, mindset of scarcity, but you know.
Well, you asked again, like this wasn't a specific marketing plan. Like I'm not going out knocking on doors saying, "Hey, I know you own this apartment building over here. Can I quote you?" That wasn't this. That happens, but that wasn't this risk. This risk was brought on by a producer that had a relationship with the client, and then when the client heard my name, he knew who I was because we had run in the same circles prior, and we share probably 20 or 30 common friends as well. So all those relationships helped tremendously. And you mentioned relationships, and that's actually what I spoke on in Reno last week, was relationship building. And it doesn't have to be commercial, it could be personal lines, it could be life, financial services as well. There's so many different types of relationships you need to build in this industry. You need to build it with prospects. You need to find prospects. You need to build that relationship with them, find common ground. Oh, your kids play soccer? My kids play soccer too. Where do you play? Where did you go to school at? What's your degree in? Find the common ground, build up some relationship there. That's prospects. Current customers, the exact same thing. You use ECMS for that. You put in notes, the wife's name, the kids' names, what they do for a living. You know people, you get to know who they are. All this helps tremendously. I was just in Las Vegas last weekend, and I'm sitting in one of the hotels with, I think, 3 other farmers agents and their spouses, and a company person and their spouse. We're all sitting there, and I walk over to the bar, and somebody waves at me, and I look over, and it's a customer that has been a customer of mine for 25 years or more.
Oh, wow.
He and his wife. And they live here in Southern California. They just happened to be there and recognized me and flagged me down. Came over and met the rest of the group and everything. And when they left, you know, everybody was like, "They've been with you for 25 years or so, and they know who you are."
Right.
So I'm like, that's pretty awesome. And
That is really awesome.
That's just relationship building. That's super important. And the third part of relationships is relationships with the company you're working with. So in this case, farmers. Whether it's your DM, your ASM, territory office, home office, underwriting, you need that relationship so you can pick up a phone and call the underwriter and say, "Hey," and if they know you, they know they can trust you, and you can say, "Hey, I have this risk right now. You know, it's an apartment building over here. You know, it's built in 1960. It's not the best, but I think it'd be fine with us." And if you have that relationship with the underwriter, you know, and they trust you, that's a no-brainer. They're going to be like, "Yeah." But if they don't know you, they're like, "Well, who is this guy? And I don't know what kind of stuff he does. And if he's telling me it's kind of iffy, that means it's probably really, really bad, and he's trying to sugarcoat it." So you have to build those up. And if I can go one step further on that, a big part of that is being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the fake relationship. It's not, oh, what college did you go to? What degrees did you get? Blah, blah, blah. And just trying to make a little bit of small talk to make it seem like you're building a relationship and you really don't care. People can pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
People know if you're a genuine human being or not.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just trying to do that in a fake way,
Just to get the sale, right?
that's not going to go well.
Right.
That's going to go sideways, and it's going to go sideways with underwriting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you really are a genuine human being, people know that, and it goes such a long way.
Right. You just care for people, huh? You naturally
Just be a good human.
right.
Just be a good human being.
And have interest in them, like you actually
Yeah.
have interest in.
Absolutely.
Right. Where do you think people learn that, or do you think that's just the way people are? Like, have you always been friendly and just been able to talk to people without any?
Yeah, that's my nature, for sure.
What about to the people who may be a little bit more introverted or kind of?
So I've always said, and this probably isn't anything you wanted to talk about today at all.
No,
I don't know
this is gonna help people.
How we wandered over here. Again, this is just my opinion. Your mileage may vary. I think to be an insurance salesman or any salesman in general, if you're super, super friendly and people like you, you're going to get an opportunity.
Yeah, that's just what you need to at least even have a chance.
You have to have that. But if you don't have the product knowledge or the technical background to go with it, it won't take them long to figure that out. So you're friendly, you've talked to them, you've worked out, hey, let me do your insurance. Fine, let's do it. A year or so later, all of a sudden they're realizing, guy really doesn't know what he's doing really. Okay, that's one way. The other way is to be the engineer type of person, super knows these policies inside and out. There's a lot of agents that are like that, a lot of people that are like that. Know these things inside and out way more than I would ever know.
All the variables of how the rates are calculated.
Crazy. But they're not people.
Right.
So the customer would really like that knowledge, but they really don't like talking to the person. And that's a challenge. But if you can meld both of those together and you're a people person that people like to talk with, and you have knowledge on the back end, that's a gold mine in this world.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. That's the combination.
That's a combination.
People person and knowledge. Which is more important?
50-50.
50-50.
Otherwise, you won't get them to talk to you in the first place, but you have to have the knowledge to back it up on the back end.
Right. Now, I think in the last conversation we had, you mentioned that you're pretty strong with numbers too.
Yeah, I'm a numbers geek.
How did that help, you think?
It should help everybody. Everybody should be that. But you can always hire that out, I guess, because that's the secret in this business too. You hire what you don't like to do.
But the numbers when it comes to like growing your agency and like how much expense you're taking, how much those type of things.
What you want to market to this or that.
ROIs. Yeah. That's like upper level, stuff that producers.
Yeah, they
may not be able to expect.
That's what spreadsheets are for. You just lay out the numbers, see what things cost. You're able to help customers that way. You're able to sit down with a client and they can't make something fit in their budget, right? So you're able to tweak things around and move some money from here over to here and change things around for them, and all of a sudden it becomes affordable. It's very helpful in the financial services world too, if we're able to talk to them about retirement, where we're going to put some money, and how it's going to perform. So.
Yeah, so that is part of the product, knowledge part too.
Absolutely.
It helps there out big time.
Yeah.
What about when it comes to staff? What has worked well for you as far as the way you train, motivate, or
I think I have a long way to go in that. Seeing your operation for sure, you're all about hiring and training people daily, and keeping them engaged. And I definitely need to learn more there. And if I could go back in time, I would expand quicker. I was definitely slow the first bunch of years. You You would hire somebody to come help you, and everybody. I would run it as thin as I could, so it felt like everybody was hanging on by their fingertips, but we weren't able to do anything extra. We were producing plenty, but not crazy numbers. And you could tell they were just busy. And then when somebody would be gone for the day, whether they're sick or out on vacation or something, then all it is everybody's just hoping to maintain.
It's just defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the past few years, I've been a little more of an aggressive approach. Just bringing some people in and like, okay, you concentrate in the commercial realm. Go out and get us some business. You concentrate in the personal line stuff. You just do sales. You just do CSR work. You're a crossover. You do a little bit of everything. But I just try to have enough people there now, so that everything's covered. And I kind of run a little differently. I mean, you're gonna talk to a bunch of agents that run this part of the business completely different. I think you're going to be headed to Texas in a day or so, and you're going to see a couple of agents down there that definitely preach departmentalization of the agency.
Yeah, Brian Scott.
Big marketers, producers, service work. Keep everybody, segmented basically. I get the concept. I tend to have jack of all trades.
Okay.
I like somebody that can help the customer no matter what the problem is, but then also cross-sell a customer on whatever we're lacking. And if they're out for the day, then this person over here can fill in just the same way. So I try to have everybody be able to grab phones. There's a hierarchy of where the phones go and when, but I want everybody to be available to help customers. It's the number one thing, more than sales, in my world, is retention.
So whoever answers the phones has to be able to at least do customer service.
Or at least, I would rather you answer the phone and answer the question. But if it's a specialized question, then find the right person to do it. But
I think my model is similar to yours. More similar to yours.
Yeah, and I think where you and I differ the most probably is the sales and retention end of it. From what I can tell, I might be completely wrong here, but it feels like you're definitely. I mean, your sales numbers show you're all about sales. Your sales crush us.
Thank you.
But I think we're really, really good on the retention end of it.
Yeah.
And there's chicken and egg argument there.
What some tips or strategies do you guys have for retention? So
retention, why I focus so much on retention is these are customers that you already have. They already like you, they're already there. So why would I try to go out and get new people, have no idea, pick up a phone and say, hey, can I please sell you insurance? It's a bigger struggle than just taking 2 extra minutes to make sure this person's happy and stays with you. That's kind of my mentality there. So what we do is, somebody's definitely in charge of watching cancellation notices, getting a hold of people if a bill is due or canceled or whatever. Somebody's always on top of that. Renewals for autos and homes, somebody watches those daily to see, are we in an acceptable range? My acceptable range is probably different than customers are, but I kind of have an idea of what people would be tolerant to.
Is that a percentage or?
Yeah, more so than a dollar amount, it's a percentage. Yeah, for sure.
After a certain amount, you're like, oh, I better contact these people.
Yeah. And the people in the office that do that are pretty familiar with that.
Okay.
So if it goes up too much, look and see what the issue is. Maybe something changed on our end. Maybe a discount fell off or something. Maybe it's an error. Then we can reach out to the customer and say, you're going to get this bill, it's wrong, here's what your real bill is. If we didn't do that, they get that higher bill, they freak out, call State Farm, next thing you know, you call them and say, hey, I fixed it for you, oh, I've already switched.
Right.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
So we're real good about the renewals.
It's so much better when you're calling them before they call you,
You
right?
have to.
It's like,
You have to.
so you just really have one person assigned for all lines? Or?
One does cars and homes.
Cars and homes, okay.
That's really the bulk of that, because that's your bread and butter.
Right.
You want those to keep renewing. That's your.
Yeah.
I have people on the book.
But that
for
person
25
would have
plus
to be
years.
pretty experienced and knows what they're doing, huh?
Yeah.
Would that take most of their time, or they do other
Yeah.
things too?
They do the person that does that in my office does some other things as well, but that's really,
Uh-huh.
I would say at least half of their day
Oh yeah,
is
okay.
just that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of renewals.
Well, that's how much time and effort that deserves.
But I would rather do that than spend half a day calling cold call leads and hoping to get
Yeah.
a couple of customers or not.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're letting some customers here go out the back door.
Yeah.
So we're real good about that
That's-
on the retention.
Yeah.
And then, so my motto has always been, let's close the back door, save them from leaving,
Mm-hmm.
and worry about supplementing with new stuff on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we always covered it and then did a little extra,
Mm-hmm.
few hundred policies a year growth. Now with ramping up sales numbers and stuff, I think in the last couple of years we're 15 or 1600 PIF more than I was in January of 18, just by hiring more people, growing more.
Uh-huh.
But we still have that back door closed. We're
Right.
not, just because I'm writing this doesn't mean they're running out over here. Because
Right.
we're ignoring them. So trying to do both.
You have the foundation very solid, and you're building on top of that.
That's what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're going to talk to other agents and
Mm-hmm.
do things different ways, and they're very successful too. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's right. I know what works for me.
That's the beauty of it. Every agency has, what works for them.
Yeah,
And there's just, like you said earlier, there's so many ways to be successful in this
absolutely.
business. I need to definitely learn a lot about retention. I think my strategy sometimes is I think some other people have said it like just juggling a whole bunch of things and see what you can hold on to.
Yeah, that's true.
It's almost too busy but I really have to keep a closer eye on the retention
You
side.
have a bigger personal lines base than I do, so that's definitely going to be a job, an undertaking. But I would definitely put one or two people on that job.
Mm-hmm.
The return on that is better than if you put them on the new business side.
I think so too. That's the trade-off I have to make though.
Mhm.
Because I'm so focused on the sales side. I'm like, I gotta take this person because this person would need to know how to service the policy, and they need to know the ins and outs of the policy, like you said.
Yeah,
Because they need
but you
to
have
understand the
that.
rating.
You have those resources here.
Mm-hmm. So to take someone who's doing sales, taking a back step and having them do the service, then I'll have to think about a different compensation plan too.
So that person would share in the monthly renewals. There'd be a small portion of the monthly renewals they would get because they're keeping people on the books. They're not going to get compensated for new sales,
Mm-hmm.
so you're going to make up for it by every customer. I mean, the more customers that stay on board, the more they make. So that's how
A percentage of the new renewals, huh?
the renewal commissions.
The whole book of the whole
Yeah.
book. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just the
It could be-
personal lines.
it could be 1%. It could be 0.5%. I mean, you have to look and see what you think is fair in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But if theirs is tied to renewals,
Mm-hmm.
then in their mind they're going to want to keep as many people on board as possible because then the renewals are higher and they're going to make more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so easy to motivate people and let them know what's the most important when you tie it into their compensation.
People know it's the most important because it's whatever pays them the most.
Right,
Because we're the same way as agents.
right.
We're-
Farmers puts out a bonus. We're looking at exactly
Absolutely.
how
We
to
look
get
and
there.
see what, and I'm a great example of that. And I don't know if it's right or wrong. And I hear people that say I do a real good job of it, and I hear people that say I just chase bonuses around. But when they dangle a contest and say, hey, we're going to give you X amount of money if you go above your baseline in this category, well, I put all my resources there. We take people away from doing more life insurance right now. Maybe we're going to sell more personal lines for a while. We're going to reach out and do that. I can't do everything equal the whole time. And then all of a sudden, if there's a huge life promotion, now we're gonna slow down some of the other areas and bring everybody over to the life side for a while, and that's their main focus for a while.
Yeah, I don't think it's either right or wrong. I think it's smart.
It's you chase the money, don't you?
Yeah,
That's what,
that's our business for.
if you're a numbers person, that's what you do.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where the numbers part helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like playing a game.
Right or wrong? Again, I get the concept. You're supposed to be just consistent year round in everything, but easier said than done. I think it helps the staff because it changes up their their goals all the time versus coming in every day for a year straight doing the exact same thing. I change it up on them and say, okay, now we're going to do this for the next month. This is what I want you to do. Now we're going to do this. And it just gives them something fresh all the time.
Right, and keeps them incentivized.
Yeah.
And you're learning something new,
Yeah.
every single time.
I mean, they chase the money as much as I do. I dangle something out there. I don't just go up and tap everybody on the shoulder and say, we need more life production right now so I can get awards. How motivated are they going to be to do anything? Because I get an award and I get to go on a trip somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go the extra effort for somebody for that.
Yeah.
But if I say, we need more life production in the next couple of months and I'm going to give you X amount of dollars or percentage for everyone you do over and above, and all of a sudden they're selling a ton more.
Yeah, because, I mean,
They make more.
what's in it for them,
They make more.
Yeah.
I hit sales numbers and I win awards. It seems to work.
Yeah, it's just, I think the way I look at it is you're just aligning your guys' goal, you know.
With farmers' goals.
Right.
And
That's true.
I preach that to agents all the time when
yeah.
they ask, what should I sell? Follow farmers. They'll tell you what to sell. They'll have a commercial contest. Well, then they're lacking commercial stuff right now. We need more commercial. They'll have a life contest. They need to boost their life numbers. It's not rocket science.
Would you say with the AGM not tied into the bonus and now it's all premium, that you may be specializing in what makes you the most premium could be the right move?
So, good question.
Because the AGM was about balance.
Yeah, it was about balance. I think.
Would you say, hey, don't be balanced?
I like being balanced. I think it serves me well. But I know there's specialists out there. If I could think of a handful of friends of mine that are agents in California here that I would consider them commercial specialists. That's where they put all their time and effort.
Yeah. Some big time agents too.
Absolutely. There's certainly life insurance and financial services specialists and experts, and they do that.
Because one way some people may say is that it's better to be an expert at one thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of struggle with that sometimes.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
Which way should I go? Should I just keep putting the gasoline on the personal lines, or should I just take a step back?
Whatever is working, whatever's making you money and making you happy.
Well, that's a great answer.
How long have you been an agent now?
I've been
With
an agent
farmers.
for 12 years.
Okay. When I became an agent, I was 21 years old. I'm 53 now. So I need to change things up every so often so I don't get bored. Right? So you've been killing it in personal lines for 12 years. At some point, you're going to go, this is getting a little redundant. I need a challenge. I need to try something else. Let me see if I can do enough life and financial services products to make $1 Million Roundtable, because that's something I haven't done before. Let's try and make that. We have the resources here. I have plenty of staff. I have plenty of customer base to get a hold of and say, hey, I have your personal lines. Did you know I can get you a life policy for X amount of dollars per month and blah, blah, blah. You have all that built in here. And so there's going to come a point in time when it's kind of fun to do that kind of stuff. I set goals like that all the time. Well, I haven't done this, so let's see if I can make that. Or I haven't done this one yet. So that's just me. I need to change it up. Otherwise, it's been a long time in this world.
Yeah, you got to switch it up, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your goals right now?
Good question. Immediate, short term.
You made it to all the achievement clubs.
Made it to all the achievement clubs.
What are
this year? This will be my third $1 Million Roundtable this year, which is a lot of life insurance.
Considering how much other stuff you do.
Yeah. We try.
So it's a great
it helps you stand out above a lot of the.
Because it's not easy to be able to be good at different lines.
No.
And that's why I have empathy when it comes to new agents, that they have to be good at everything so fastly.
You need help. What you realize is, because I'm a control freak, like a lot of us are too. We're all a lot of us are the same mold. Very driven, very self-motivated, controlling personalities. We're all kind of the same. I realized I hit a cap, a ceiling, because I kept trying to do everything myself. I want to handle all the big commercial cases. I want to do all the big life policies, and I'm going to have people around it. They'll do some of the other things for me. But I could only do so much. And then I started getting pulled in all these different directions, time-wise. And I just needed more people to help me do things. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I get 3 extra people helping do some stuff, and everybody throws in X amount of policy per month, well, that's more than I could do by myself. Well, what if I had 6 of them doing that? And you're the same way here. The more you add on, they might not all do what you would do if you were writing it, but collectively they're doing way more than you could possibly do by yourself.
Yeah, there's only so much one person could do.
Yeah.
And even if they do 80% as well, or even 60% as well, because sometimes I think you struggle with, if I did it myself, it could be done so much better.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing too.
Say that all the time. Say that all the time.
It's an ego thing, but
It
hey,
is.
10 people who are doing 60% is better than 1% at 100.
Yeah.
So
by far. So that's where it helps when you diversify and do all the different lines.
So which one of the lines, what would you say is your most important duties right now?
Here, I'll give you a typical day. How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Typical day. Wake up between 5 and 6 o'clock. Grab the laptop that's sitting by the bed. Open it up. Look at all the emails that came through overnight. Answer some that I know the answer to right off the bat.
These are like clients' emails?
Or whoever.
Okay.
Could be company.
Okay.
Could be clients. Could be potential people. Could be whatever.
Yeah, we get a lot of emails, that's for sure.
A ton of them. Answer some. The ones that I don't want to handle, or I know somebody else is already working, forward over to that person. They know they're supposed to work on it, get it done, and then they have to answer back to me and tell me everything's done. That way, if a client gets back a hold of me and says, I was waiting for this, I know it's already been done. I also reply to that customer or the person saying, so-and-so is going to be follow up with you on this. If you have any questions, let me know. So those are all morning long.
So this is at your house?
This is at the house still.
Okay.
Look at reports that came in overnight. So it could be the folio. Could be the PGB.
We look at those every day.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
You should be looking at these things. How do you know?
I'm like refreshing it as it tries to update.
How do you know if you're winning? Right?
It's the
If you don't
scoreboard.
know the score.
Yeah.
So you look that up. Same as the leaderboard. The leaderboard comes out once a week. You look it up and see where you are right now, and then how you compare to people in your territory, in your area, how you compare to people nationally. So you know, okay, I'm running as fast as I can right now, and I'm still 500th in the, I don't know if I'm either going to have to hire more or that's just beyond my realm. Or I'm running 20th in the nation in this, and I probably have a little more in my tank. I could probably do that if I want to. You kind of run through all these things in your head. So that's at the house. Get to the office. There's usually a stack of stuff on the desk. Go through mail.
What time is this about?
Probably around 8.
Okay.
Yep.
Still
This
early.
morning was like 6:30, I think. Go through, stack some mail and stuff on the desk. By then, there's probably more emails waiting around. People start coming in between 8 and 9. Employees do. I have a bad habit of distracting everybody all the time. So I'll walk around and ask people how their day is,
That's
what's
important,
going on.
probably.
I need to
do more of that.
It really is. I downplay it a lot, but it's super important. Again, it goes back to relationships.
Yeah. And who's in the relationship more important?
It doesn't
your
just,
employees.
It's not just a job where I'm going to show up and I'm kind of bummed to be here. Nobody cares if I'm here or not. I want you to know that I'm happy you're here. And so
And what's going on?
I interact with people a lot. I very rarely will be on the phone. Very, very rarely. Maybe once a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a phone person. I don't
Okay.
enjoy it. But I get interrupted all day long with staff. they come in and need to ask a question about this or that,
Uh-huh.
or how to do something, or to tell me what they did, or so that goes on all day. And then there's definitely planning that goes in to put into place every day. I do all the bookkeeping, accounting, payroll, and everything myself as well. So then there's that going on, all the compensation plans for everybody. And goodness gracious, you get around the every other Friday, there's
Payroll.
going through, and then once a month is a folio, which means you got to calculate everybody's commissions, take care of that. It could be a Tuesday at noon. Get a hold of everybody in the office. Anybody slow? Everybody slammed right now? You slow? You want me to order something in, or you want to go out to lunch somewhere? Take a consensus. Some days we'll all run down the street and have lunch for an hour together, shut the office down for an hour and go. Or we call Uber Eats and have something brought into the office.
Oh, nice.
It's just a nice group activity. Everybody eats together. You can either talk about some work things that are going on or not.
So people are eating at their desk or in the conference room, or?
If we're eating at the office, we'll eat at the desks, but a lot of times we'll all eat in the big bullpen area.
Okay.
And just bring other chairs in there that way.
Oh, okay.
And then it turns very light. It's a lot of joking around and stuff like that.
Yeah, which you need.
I think it's important, but that's just the way I run mine.
Yeah, no, I need to do more of that. Yeah.
I think people appreciate it.
I think so too.
They'll probably be watching this later and tell me that they don't really appreciate it, and I don't know.
No, I bet they do. Tell me a little bit. I think that's interesting about your operation too. And I think every agency is different. You're big on working and worked really well with working with family.
Yes. So again, I worked with my dad for roughly 30 years.
He trained you
side by side. Yeah, we had a unique relationship early on. He didn't come from this world, or white collar world for that matter. And he started when he was 49 years old.
Oh, okay.
But he was a people person.
Uh-huh.
But not necessarily a numbers person.
Oh, really? Okay.
So he would go out and get the information and to do a restaurant or a body shop or somebody's personal lines policies. And I'm going to take you way back. It was early 80s, and there was no computers or anything yet. So we did everything by hand, all the rating and everything. We had manuals, and we would go through and rate things out by hand. That wasn't his forte, but that was my forte. So he would bring stuff back, hand it to me, and say, give me some prices on this. I'd do it all, the rating sheet, give it to him, and he'd go back and sell the policies. So it worked well for us. So I got to learn the ins and outs of policies, how to do things.
What determines pricing?
Yeah, and then we'd obviously have a ton of customers come in all the time, so I could hear
how you talking.
Yeah. And I learned a lot then, and then a few years later, my younger brother came in to the business as well after he graduated college.
Okay.
And then he and I ran an agency together for 20 years or so.
I think you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked with him the whole time. And I think we were pretty successful that whole time as well. And then roughly 9 or 10 years ago, separated back into separate agencies because looking ahead, trying to get ready for succession planning and stuff like that. So then my son was getting to be that age where it was time for him to start to come in. The kids were older, out of college, so then my wife wanted something to do as well. So she came in. So as of right now, my wife works there every day as well. I would say she's pretty much the office manager. I'm pretty much the agent, actually. She's there every day, runs the agency.
And you're not just saying this because it's recorded.
No, my name's on the plaque, but she does all the work.
She really is, huh?
She does. Yeah, she runs the day-to-day stuff at the office. Handles all the personnel, all that kind of stuff, and talks to customers all the time, does all that stuff. Things that I don't enjoy doing that much anymore. My son's there. He used to do more of the customer service end of it. Now he does most of the commercial.
Wow.
It started out where he might have done 10 or 20%. I would I would assume he's 80 or 90% of the commercial business in the agency now.
Is what he does?
That he does.
Wow.
That he creates and generates.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
He does very well with that. Markets himself and goes out and gets business.
So he must be doing really well.
He's doing very well. His longtime girlfriend worked for me as well. She's been there at least 5 years or so. So there's a lot of family there. And then we have 6 others that aren't related, but they may as well be family. And there's a good example. A week or so ago, one of the team members had a birthday party at her house for her 2-year-old, and I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of us on a Saturday night went to her house to celebrate a birthday party for her daughter. But that's kind of cool. It just shows that everybody likes being around each other and likes to work together, and so it's kind of a cool.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I try to foster, because I want people to like each other. This isn't just a job. You're not just showing up at 9, leaving at 5, and kind of just getting through life. And if something better came along someday, great. I don't want that. I want people. I mean, my longest term girl has been with me, I think, 11 or 12 years now. I just like it, man. People want to be there. There's just a lot of loyalty, and I don't have to worry. I'm gone a lot, as you know, and I don't have to worry about it. The place runs extremely smoothly.
I think it really helps that they care.
Yeah.
You know, about the agency, and you can't do that without making them feel like family.
Here's a good example of that. I'm sorry, I'm dominating your conversation.
No. This is I'm asking you the questions.
Here's a great example of that. So we get leaderboard type things every so often, right? And then when farmers have contests, they update us on these things all the time as well. And we just saw that with the Farmers Open contest, right? Which you dominated and finished first place in.
Is it over?
You kill me that you don't know these.
Oh yeah, I look at my individual folio on PGD, but
kill me. Well, anyway, early on in the contest, I would print out the sheet just for the state of California. You could see it nationwide, but just for California. And you had three levels you could win. You could be commercial, life insurance, or personal lines. My goal was to be in the top of all 3 categories. That was what I told the staff we wanted to do. We wanted to finish in the top 10 or 11 in every category.
That's a high goal.
You have to have high goals.
Yeah.
You have to.
Agree.
So I printed these out every week and would give them to, we'd call everybody around, sit around and talk, and I'd hand out these sheets. First thing they'd do is pull out highlighters and look and find our name and highlight it and see where we were. What I found out was it's a source of pride that you talked about them having ownership in the agency, acting like it's theirs and caring, and it's a source of pride. I would hear that. I would hear, where are we this week? Oh, we're number 1 here. Oh, we're number 14 over here. And how do we get up above that? And they're talking to each other because they want to be way up there. Because I want to be way up there. They want to be up there. It reflects on each other. They know that they work for a really great agency, and it's a sense of pride. They can walk around, and if they run into people that'll say, oh, I have so-and-so as my agent over here. But they know in their mind that they work for a really good agency. And
sometimes they don't know that.
No,
they're just
I think you should let them know that.
Yeah.
I think it's a real good thing.
It's almost like being a part of a great sports team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was hesitant at the beginning because I thought it's egotistical and it's kind of braggy. So I was kind of unsure whether to go down that road, but it was such a great reaction that it just. What I found out is the people that are as motivated as I am, that are there, they're like all of a sudden they put their head down and they're just trying to do more and more.
Everybody has a competitive side in them.
Yeah,
you know,
need to bring it out.
And I think in a work culture, once you feel like you belong in a team and you have a common goal, it really puts people together.
We did that early, late last year, early this year. Farmers had a contest for personal lines, where we got a bunch of extra bonus money for doing so many personal lines policies.
Just the auto, right?
Auto and home.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And maybe even foremost too. I don't remember. But we had a huge whiteboard set up, like your whiteboard over here. And every day they would write down the customer's name, what line of business was, how many policies, and who referred that piece of business to us, how they got that business. And all day long, and I put that one right past my office door. So people would have to go past my door daily, back and forth. They'd write another policy, come back and write the thing on the board. And we were beating the baseline from the prior year anywhere from 90 to 100 policies every single month above where we were the year before.
It was like $175 per policy or something.
It was
like
crazy.
That.
It was a crazy
amount.
Yeah. But I had told the staff I was going to share that all with them. So they knew that they were getting a good chunk of change by doing it. So, and the cynical person would say, well, why don't they do that all the time? Well, because you can only do so much. I mean, you do get worn out at a certain point.
Yeah.
So they do really well all the time. But because of this, they did really, really, really well.
It's almost like the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like
they stepped up.
You can't play at playoff intensity during the preseason all year long. You'll get burned out.
No, you can't. But they would reach out to other family members, neighbors.
Making that extra effort.
Customers they would talk to, they would say, hey, refer somebody over here. And we were just getting all of this stuff coming in from word of mouth, relationships, things like that. And then that column that listed where the business came from, we had somebody else in the office that would go through once a week, write that all down, and put like a handwritten card in the mail saying, thanks so much for thinking of us, thanks for being a client, thanks for the referral, and maybe we give them a $10 Starbucks gift card or something saying, thanks so much for thinking of us. And next thing you know, a week later, here's a bunch more referrals coming in the door because they felt appreciated.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and when we hit on something real good during that time, the contest ended. I needed more.
You keep those habits, though.
Yeah, we're real good about that.
Yeah.
But definitely that production slowed down some because that, again, you kind of grab them by the head and you steer them in different directions. Say, now I need this taken care of for a while.
And then you ran into this.
So then the life insurance started going crazy. Our goal was to hit 100 by the end of the year. We'll wait and see how close we're going to get, but it's going to be fairly close.
Wow.
But I dangled a lot of carrots in front of them to do that. So we'll see. But that's kind of the fun I have.
Right.
Is trying to figure out which way to steer the ship, and then to get everybody on board to go, that's cool, let's try it. And right now we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah. I could tell you're writing that many policies, and I agree with you. Writing a lot of policies and seeing a business grow is definitely fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. And once you're having fun with it, then you want to come into the office, you want to make extra effort, and you're not, you come up with more ideas too. So having fun while we're on this journey is one of the keys.
You know what else you get a lot of ideas is talking and listening to other agents.
Yeah.
Too many times I've been in situations, and I might come across this way to people as well, that I have all the answers and do things my way, it can't be farther from the truth.
Yeah.
I don't care if you listen to this. I don't care if you copy any of it. If you do things completely different, it doesn't matter to me in the least. What I like to do is, like the other day I was here talking with you and we talked for a couple hours. I want to learn how you do things, not because I want to change my whole organization around, so I can see if there's things here that I can incorporate and add to what I have already. And you can pick up, we have so many great agents in the state of California that you can pick and choose from so many and just get bits and pieces of information and tweak things a little bit here and there.
And this is absolutely the reason I want to do this, to help out the agents that may be listening to this, because you're absolutely right. There's just no one way.
There isn't, and that's kind of the exciting part.
It really is. It makes it really interesting, but there's just so much to learn.
Again, 35 years in, I don't have all the answers. I'm still learning all the time.
Well, I think that's the right attitude, though. I think when you shut it down, when you feel like I know everything, that's when
That's when things go sideways. I think I probably had more of that attitude in my late 30s, early 40s, where I'd been around a long time already. And I probably had more of that attitude of, I already know what I'm doing.
And had some success.
Yeah, and plenty of success at that point already, but not as willing to adapt and change and try something else. And now, all bets are off. Let's just try this, try that, see what happens, and it either works or it doesn't, and let's have some fun.
Yeah,
It's,
have some fun growing it. So yeah, what's next for the agency? Well, I think I mentioned it
Yeah,
before.
you asked for goals.
Let's wrap it up here with some goals here.
Yeah, for
or
goals.
Or your vision for your agency. What's the long? Doesn't have to be short term or long term. Or just what you're thinking.
What I'm thinking, short term, get through the end of this year. We're getting pretty close, a couple of months.
How do you measure? Do you measure really PIF, like premium, or?
PIF used to be a big thing. Are you old enough to remember sales count, when sales count was a thing?
I think right when I got started, they kind of got away with that.
So when I was growing up in this, sales count was what we measured everything on. We got X amount of sales count for this type of policy.
Is
that type.
Is that like units?
Man,
it was like a complicated formula.
It wasn't uniform at all. You would get like a little bit of it for autos or fires and a ton for commercial and a lot more for life. And it was all over the place. Yeah. But that's how we judge things. And then PIF became a thing. But in reality, PIF includes like life policies. So if you had 500 life policies in your book of business, how much money you're making on those if they've been on the books for 10 or 20 years or so?
1%.
You're not making much of anything. So that PIF really doesn't mean a lot.
Right.
But it inflates you and go, well, I have 3,000 PIF policies, 500 life policies. You really don't have making a lot on those. So your PIF might be inflated, might on paper might look really good, but in your wallet it doesn't feel really good. So
sometimes having the renters lowers the premium.
It does. The net result is it does lower. But now the way we do things with premium, I mean, there's no better indicator than that.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you had 1,000 policies, and
that plays into retention too. So
absolutely,
it gives you the whole big picture.
If you had 1,000 policies and $1 million in premium, that's way better than having 2,000 policies and $1 million in premium. 2,000, you have that many more things to service and stuff. So premium is definitely where it's at. It's easy to calculate. It's right there in black and white all the time, how much you have. Growth, the old way through PIF, you would only grow by writing PIF, by writing policies. And if you had things going out the back door and your retention was low, you could actually write a bunch of policies and be upside down for the year. Premium,
the same thing.
Especially the way we've been going the last bunch of years with increasing rates and stuff in the state of California, you're going to kind of get a bump in premium naturally.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad thing when there's rate increases.
Yeah,
as long as all the other companies are doing it.
Yeah, you want it right in that range there.
But yeah, I'm definitely not one of those agents that sit here and complain about rate increases.
No, not at all. Retention's still huge because you can't have a bunch of premium going out the back door, so you still need that. But longer term goals.
Is it okay if I ask you what your premium is right now?
Premium right
now, like a rolling 12 months.
Rolling 12, we're going to be 7.5 to 8, somewhere in that range right now. And I usually know that number pretty exact, but I've been a little lazy, a little lax lately. But I'll pay attention to it because the new AGM or new PGB stuff is coming out in January,
I saw that.
And the buckets are already defined.
Yeah.
So you need to know where you're going to land.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, or 10, over 10.
Yeah. So we're right in that range right now. Long-term goals, obviously, would be to grow that some more. I'm a big achievement club guy. I need that. I need that in my life. It's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that as a carrot, I would probably care a little less about what I'm doing.
It's good to be self-aware.
So toppers is always a goal to make toppers. President's Council is a great goal to shoot for, and I'd love to do that. But all you can do is throw throw all your chips in the middle of the table and hope they fall in your favor.
Oh, that's
there.
a slam dunk, I think, at this point.
We'll see, man. We'll see you in March or so when we start getting phone calls. But
How many years have you made it?
it's a complicated answer. 2 when I was partnered with my brother, and 1 as a solo.
Oh, okay. Last year?
Last year.
Yeah,
This
well,
year.
Well, it's going to be an annual thing, I'm pretty sure now.
Well, we'll see. So PC is definitely on the list. MDRT has become an annual thing as well. It's a great achievement to get. Whenever they have side contests here and there, I definitely strive for those. I told the staff in January of this year I wanted to make the Farmers Open, which is a great thing to make, and then the President's Council. So shoot for both of those. See about staff, see how we're going. I wouldn't mind adding another couple or more in the next year.
Especially keep me updated with how the remote thing works.
Yeah.
That kind of opens things up.
Right now it's been working better than I expected.
You can scale that easier probably.
Easier, for sure. But you have to have the right person.
Yeah.
Because if they're not motivated or they're not, it's easy to fake being busy.
Yeah.
I need you to be really busy.
Yeah.
Not just tell me you're busy and answer a couple.
Unless the compensation plan is heavily, performance based.
Yeah, well, I have some both ways in that regard, and actually both are working out okay.
It'll be. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm interested because I could see how, you can keep your employees happy that way.
Commuting. One I saw today. Matter of fact, she came into the office today for a minute, and it would normally be an hour drive each direction for her, so it saves her 2 hours a day. She doesn't have to be on the road.
That changes her lifestyle.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm playing around with it. We'll see how that works. I don't know. I just want to stay happy.
Okay.
I think that's my main goal. Is like compensation's there. I've done well my whole career. Compensation's fine. What's fun now is seeing your team members grow and seeing them make more money. The more we do, the more stuff we're able to sell and process, the more money they make. Everybody's doing better right now. It's not Tim's taking home more money and buying himself fancy cars and stuff, and we're all struggling here all the time. It's because we're doing well. We're doing well, and I try to share it a lot more that way, and it's fun to watch that.
Yeah, no, I get more out of that than, you're right. Like seeing people I've hired like grow up and get married and have kids and taking care of their family with this income and this opportunity. That's I get a lot from that too.
It's awesome. It's awesome, and it was a few years ago I probably wouldn't even have thought along those lines, and now it's definitely fun to watch all that happen.
Yeah, I've gone some progressions too where it was sometimes it could be self-centered, but I think to grow a business, it's actually better to care more about how they're doing, and you just take whatever's left over, and I think that
you get more out of it,
more fulfillment.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do. So I just want to be happy, and who knows?
Yeah.
Someday maybe actually ride off into the sunset and look back and go, that was kind of cool. That was a fun ride.
Are you thinking about that already?
No. I get asked
you got a long ways to go.
I get asked that all the time because I've been around so long. I get asked all the time, how much longer you have?
Well, if you're having fun, I mean,
I don't know where I'm going. I'm 53 years old. Where do I need to be? Where am I?
Well, the beautiful thing is, you have options with your son, right?
He's doing fine as a producer right now. He's paying the bills.
But you have the option to, right?
Well, someday down the road, I could see that happening where I flip it around and have him be the agent and be responsible for all this.
Do you think you'd be the type to sell it early and really just enjoy retirement, or do you think you'd be the type to just keep doing it as long as you can and just enjoy building the business?
This business is real easy if you do it right. It's there's no reason to ever retire. You can keep riding this forever. Have the right staff in place. So, but I'm
the same way.
I could see he and I flipping roles someday, and he being the agent and running everything, and me being a producer in the agency, and just kind of You know, I've seen that happen.
Staying involved.
2 or 3 friends of mine that are agents in the state here have done that with their parents, and I could see something like that happen down the road. But who knows? My dad was 79 years old when he retired from this.
Oh,
business.
really?
You can work a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're using this, not your body.
Yeah, not
Thank
so
goodness.
much.
Right? So.
Yeah, but still take care of everybody. You know, we want to be in it for the long run. So, yeah, I'm excited for both of our futures and keep in touch with you, Tim.
I think we're going to be crossing paths for quite a few years
Yeah.
here now.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to catch you, but
I'm never going to be able to catch you in the commercial lines product, but never say never. You never know. You know, we'll keep pushing each other.
I saw you had a good friend of mine in a couple weeks ago or so, Richard. So.
Oh yeah.
And you talk about a long-term goal. It's a long-term goal to be his size, and he's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It is amazing. It is
the size that you can get doing businesses.
I don't think. Do you know another agent with a bigger book?
No, not a bigger book than that, but I know several.
I hear there's only about 10 or 15 agents with over 10 million. Do you believe it?
Yeah, and quite a few are here. There's several in California too. We have some good agents.
Do you think that is that rare of a level to get to?
That's a big number.
10 million. Okay.
That's a big number. It's a good number to have.
Yeah. Well, you're almost there.
Did you pay your bills with that?
Yeah, 10 million premium. Yeah, that's a good goal. But yeah, so
we just need you to branch out to do a little more commercial in life because you're getting smaller percentage on those autos and homes.
Mm-hmm.
Do the commercial, you're going to get 50% more than that. Just in commercial, life gets a lot more. You throw those extra numbers in there, and
it certainly helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way you said it, as far as making it a challenge, I think that's a good way to look at it. Because even though growing the business is still a challenge, it's definitely not on like autopilot or anything like that. Definitely need to pay close attention to it. But
you do, but you can do this with your eyes closed now. You've been doing this for a while, and that's not to downplay it because I know the struggles. I know when you make it look easy, everybody thinks it's really easy. And I get that a lot of times from other agents and people because they see that, I make it seem easy. And I do. I'm gone a lot. I have to travel a lot. And I'm sure in their minds they're thinking, well, if he can do that, then I know I can do it because he doesn't, whatever. But when you make it look easy, that means you're really, really good at it.
Also, even if it's easy now, that means you went through a lot of difficult times prior.
Right.
So they don't see that part.
You got a lot of scars to get
there. They
don't
see that part where, your expenses is just as much as your folio.
Absolutely. Or you're here on a Saturday and a Sunday. And that happens all the time to me. I'll be out Friday night having dinner with friends and go home, and 6 o'clock Saturday morning I'll wake up and think, I just may as well head in the office for a while. I'll go in for several hours and just do work and get stuff done because who else is going to do it if I'm not? It's my business.
And sometimes during those hours is when you get the most done.
You get a lot more done.
Because the clients aren't calling you, employees aren't asking you questions. You get that real quiet time to really focus in and do some critical thinking. So I think that time...
But you do get tired after a while.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be... It would be interesting to see if we could actually disappear for a week and not think about the business, open up the computer and look at anything to do on the dashboard or anything for a whole week. I don't think I've ever done that in my whole career.
That would be very difficult. It would have to be like the destination would have to be like over the top. You have to go to like Mars or something to be
it's
completely lost.
But you couldn't do it with your mind. You couldn't put your mind.
Still, you couldn't disconnect that much.
You would be so worried not being able to see what's going on.
Right.
You would be overthinking it. You're almost better off being able to look for an hour and go, okay, everything looks good. Now I'll get back to playtime.
Yeah, I do think it's good to disconnect every once in a while, but not for like, too long, because it'll turn into anxiety.
Well, I take that back again. It's for you or I and people that are wired like us, it's impossible because we're constantly thinking about maybe what could go wrong or how to fix a potential problem or how to do something better over here. Always thinking, and I think there probably are certain people that can just wander away and go, everything's cool, I'll deal with it next Friday when I get in or something.
We just care too much. So
It's just how we're wired.
Yeah.
It's just how we think about things.
it's kind of a gift and a curse.
It's a curse. It's a curse. I'll give you a great example. I told you real quick. I'm sorry to take up all your day.
No.
I told you last weekend I was in Las Vegas. I was with some other agent friends hanging out, and I think it was a Sunday night. Sunday night I was in town. Everybody else had gone home, and I was going to stay one more night to just have some downtime. And went upstairs, decent time, maybe 10 o'clock or so. Ready, I'm like, shut it down, get up Monday and get ready to work. Even though I was over there, that's still a work day. We'll have our computers open, phones ready. We'll work from the hotel room for a while. Normal. I went to bed, but my mind was thinking of some things, some pressing things I needed to handle, take care of them. 1 o'clock, I just realized it's not working. I'm not sleeping. I got up, went over to the desk in the room, and from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning,
got stuff done.
was working the entire time. And my wife woke up at one point and goes, "What are you doing?" I said, I need to get stuff done here. And I was just working and stuff, and that's just what we do.
I think that's a gift. It's not
It's a curse. That's a curse.
No.
It's only a gift on the first of the month.
Yeah. But, as long as you're enjoying it,
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I would do this 24 hours a
Yeah.
day.
And I'm with you. It's just people sometimes look at us like they feel bad because we're working, but it's like, well, if you enjoy it, then what's wrong with it?
Yeah,
it's a great.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much, right?
It's
If you were stamp collecting or doing whatever, and you put all that time in, that's kind of what I'm doing anyway.
It's a great use of time.
It is.
It's better than other hobbies.
For me, it works. It works great. I love it. Again, because the more I do, the more we do as a team, the more we bring in. The folio looks better on the first of the month.
We're all taking care of our families.
Yeah,
It's a productive hobby. So
it's a good life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you still get tired, though.
Yeah. Again, it's a blessing. I think. And then just the fact that you could be at a hotel in Las Vegas and work.
There was definitely a point in time where I wasn't able to do that.
Imagine that. 30 years ago, you probably didn't think.
Not at all. I would probably even say 15 or 20 years ago that was just not even possible that we could look at our dashboard and do anything outside of the office because we had the slave computers that were at the office basically. There was a point in time where Farmers was on computers, but they weren't web-based apps. It was proprietary software, so you had to be at the office doing it. You could do anything away.
Right.
So now we can do anything and everything, no matter where we're sitting, with these things here.
Well, not even with this. With just this something now.
With phone.
It's just getting almost there.
Yeah. Well, my eyes don't work so good on those phones.
Okay.
They're a little too small right now. I need. I better use an iPad for that.
Okay.
But I use a Surface Pro for everything. It's a great computer.
Yeah, it's crazy with technology how much we could do. So, we'll see what's next, and how the industry changes. But
well, hopefully I'll see you at the farm. Well, I will see you at the Farmers Open in January.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I'll see you in Monte Carlo in April.
Oh wow, yeah. We'll see about that.
Right.
I talk about high goals, right? But
that always has to be your highest goal every year. That's
recognition certainly makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And pay my dues. So all I can do is, like you said,
all you can do is put your numbers up.
Yeah.
Do the best you can, and hope somebody notices, and it's good enough.
Yeah, I think the commercial and the life we had our best years this year. The retention piece is something I need to work on, but I'm talking to a lot of agents, great agents, like you said, Richard and Stephen Lee, and you, and more hopefully in the near future. So, like you said, I'm learning a lot, and with big goals, I think and with helping each other, I think anything is possible.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Is get that circle of friends built up. There's a lot of we'll not put this on. We'll have a lot of agents that'll take up your time that won't be a help.
Well, not be your help. It'll actually make you go the other way.
Yeah, a little too negative.
Yeah.
Pull you backwards.
That's where I felt like I've kind of like isolated myself because I've had a lot of that early on.
Yep.
Like, you're not supposed to work on Friday after 3.
Right.
I was like, well, you're not my boss.
Right. But I want to.
So
Yeah.
That's where I felt like, wow, I need to really protect myself from like this type of thinking because influence. You get influenced by the agents you surround yourself with. So for a while, I was just really by myself, and that has actually helped me in a way where I was able to kind of come up with my own ideas too, and really get creative myself, and think of things that no one else was able to think of. So I think it's a good balance where now I want to kind of get myself out there too and see what's going on.
Yeah, now it's fun to talk to successful agents.
Because now I feel like I have some value to bring too.
Heck yeah,
and I kind of don't feel like it'll be. And sometimes I bet you get this where agents will be asking for your time, but they have nothing to get back to you. You just
it has to be a give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some today we won't have time for that, but I do need to get some from you about. I went back and told the staff about the leads because I'm going to have to look into getting some leads, and then how to do an email and a text, like a drip campaign, and get that kind of stuff going. So
social media.
Yeah, we definitely have a pretty young staff, so they're pretty dialed in on that and how to do all that. I'm pretty technological myself, but they're real dialed in.
Awesome.
But then when it comes to like I said, the email campaigns and the texting, once we get that, then even the existing customers and the existing quotes we had that didn't close, whatever, throw all those in the system too, and do like you said, just constantly run an email at them saying, "Are you ready yet?" Basically, and let's talk until they tell you to leave them alone. So I need to do that. So I need some advice from you on that, on what some of the marketing pieces look like, and stuff like that. The cool thing is California's 35 million people live here, so we're not fishing in the same pond. We're not stepping on each other's toes if we if you help somebody else, show them what you're doing.
There's so many demographics and so many niches.
I was just thinking of going after all my existing customers that I don't have everything, and like I said, the people we've quoted or lost in the past, and try to get them back too. But you can use that same concept.
Absolutely.
So
there's so many software and programs out there that is just so smart. So you could say, hey, once they do get it, then take them off the list. And they'll do it for you. So. Almost anything imaginable with a little bit of research and a lot of time spent on YouTube and looking things up could be done. So some of the stuff I know, I'd be happy to share because
that'd be great.
I think you just opened up my mind of how to use what I know for marketing into retention.
Yep.
So you just opened my mind like, hey, I should be using some of this technology and stay in front of people. And I do some of it, but maybe a little more effort.
I'm telling you right now, retention is, in my mind, you gotta remember, I've been around a while. I think retention is more important than sales, than new sales. I'm a huge believer in let's get that back door closed, stop people from leaving, then add to it, versus add a bunch to it.
What are your thoughts when someone says, hey, even if you spent all your time on retention, there's just going to be some attrition no matter what. Like
there will always be some attrition.
So how much of that is controllable?
Well, I'm not going to pretend to know your numbers, but I'm going to assume your retention is probably 70 something. Okay.
What's the highest you've seen somebody have?
90s.
90s,
for sure. I think I'm running 88 right now, all across all lines of business.
So I could get it 10% higher.
Look at it this way. Say you had $5 million book of business, right? And you had a 90% retention. You're going to lose 10% a year. You need to make up $500,000 in premium every year just to stay status quo at 90%. At 80%, you need to write $1 million in business every year to just end the year where you started the year. That's how much retention means. So if I put all my time and effort trying to write $1 million worth of business versus putting a lot of time and effort in trying to save those people from leaving, and then supplementing it with all the new business. Your new business numbers, my new business numbers aren't going to be rock star numbers like yours. But I think it also takes a lot less new business for me to keep growing every year. So that's just how I see things. But again, everybody does things different. Some people take that spaghetti colander, right, where you drain your spaghetti in it, and we'll just dump buckets of water in there, and it'll overflow over the top still. But meanwhile, a lot of stuff's coming out the bottom. But if you dump enough in the top, it'll still overflow. And that's kind of where you're at right now. You're doing so much new stuff. You can't help but overflow your bucket. But meanwhile, you have a lot coming out the bottom too. And if we were able to put cellophane over the bottom of that, with a couple of holes, imagine how much more that would be. It'd be crazy.
Yeah. If I could get up to, man, that's a high number, but it's definitely possible.
It's possible for sure.
Even low 80s. But,
I mean, just look at that simple difference right there. I told you between 80 and 90%. On a $5 million book, that's $500,000 premium difference just between that gap. So, throw 70-something% in there and you bump that up. For me, those numbers have always worked.
Yeah.
But I know Todd McLean, I know Brian Scott, I know the type like that throw just a ton in new stuff all the time. Don't necessarily worry about the other side of it, and it works. I see the numbers; they're working. But you spend a lot of money every month on new leads and marketing and getting the business in the door and everything. The money you spend on retention is far less.
Yeah, and it's all just about being efficient. So I think I've always been working hard, doing everything, but the next step is working a little smarter.
Yeah.
So those are definitely goals of mine, and I think the new business side is so fun for me, and then sometimes I feel like,
you guys have that dialed in.
Yeah,
You're crushing that.
And even with this, the growth numbers, but you're right. It's all about the premium at the end of the year, so that retention plays into part. So I feel like we are missing out on a lot of opportunity, not just not losing them, but not crossing them too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a double whammy when you lose someone.
All that.
But there are some clients, because when they run the retention number, is that off premium or is that off policy? Policies, right? I will tell you, there's some clients that we're not going to cry over at our agency. You know what I mean? So the good ones with the higher premiums, those are the ones we're like, okay, So certain policies,
right?
If they, so that percentage, I wish it was more of a premium percentage.
Yeah, maybe they'll switch there someday. Everything was PIF based for so long that internally they don't have all that.
Because
stuff.
sometimes we'll write some people that, financial difficulties, and they come back to us and stuff like that, and they're just, and then they have some unearned premium. We're like, no, sorry, we can't. But it's like, it's not the best, I would say. And our book is not all substandard at all, but we have some.
Yeah,
so those are the ones that kind of hurt our numbers. But there's definitely more attention. Anything can be improved,
Yeah, absolutely.
So the retention part, I'm excited of learning. Yeah.
We'll get there. I think we can learn from each other.
Yeah, definitely. I want to learn how, we'll talk about this off camera too, but out of state stuff is really interesting. I'm looking forward to keeping in touch and
definitely.
Learning from each other.
This is fun.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this podcast here. Once again, thank you so much, Tim, for sharing his knowledge. Really shared a lot of good insight there, a lot of good nuggets there. So wish you guys all luck, and we'll thank you for staying tuned. Thanks.
Well,
Hey, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe. And then stay tuned for more future videos to help you grow your insurance agency. And also, comment below and let me know what you think. Until next time, thank you.